Everybody, thank you. Good morning, everybody. The board meeting of the Gateway Development Commission is now called to order. Today we are holding a public meeting of the Gateway Development Commission's Board of Commissioners. Today's meeting is being held in person, but public comments will continue to be solicited virtually. Audio is also being live streamed from the Gateway Program website. The Commission will solicit comments from the public that may be participating today virtually. A form for soliciting these comments is posted on the Gateway Program website for those who wish to submit a comment for today's meeting. Acting Secretary Maria Anderson, may I ask you to conduct the roll call and report on the public notice for today's meeting?
Co-Chair Glenn?
Here.
Co-Chair Gray-Walverk?
Here.
Vice Chair Kosha?
Here.
Commissioner Barbas?
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Here.
Commissioner Braz?
Here.
Commissioner Herlinsky? Here. We have a quorum. Adequate notice of today's public meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Gateway Development Commission has been provided in accordance with the Commission's enabling legislation. The agenda and public documents pertaining to the board meeting have been made publicly available on the Gateway Program's website. Notice of the meeting was posted to the website 5 business days before the meeting, and public notice of the time and place of the meeting was provided to appropriate media outlets. A video recording of this meeting will be posted on the Gateway Program website.
Thank you, Maria. I'd just like to note to everybody in the room that we have a few guests today that are here to provide public comment, whose schedules we need to accommodate, and I'm inviting their public comments at this time. I want to note that there will be an opportunity for additional public comment later during this meeting, but I'd like to invite Senator Schumer, and I believe Congressman Gottheimer is here as well. Senator Schumer.
Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you and good morning, and it's good to be here. Now, as we all know, Gateway Tunnel Project is the largest and most important infrastructure project in the nation, and we all know why. The existing tunnels are ancient. They were flooded with corrosive salt water during Superstorm Sandy. Their lives are short. And even if one tunnel fails, it would be an economic calamity for New York, New Jersey, the region, and the whole nation. Above all, we know they must be replaced. Now, we've already secured all of the money to make this happen. Billions of dollars of congressionally approved funds that I worked very hard to deliver over the last decade. And working together with partners in this room and beyond, we got the money there. We have a full partnership between New York and New Jersey. Plans done, permits secured, work underway, and building trades workers on the job. Some of them are here today. Let's hear it for our building trades. I made sure every dollar is Davis-Bacon and PLA, union labor on all of the tunnels. We also have tunnel boring machines that are being delivered soon to start their essential work, these mammoth machines that can cut through hard rock. And yet, as we stand here today, facing the absurd reality that this vital and fully funded project that is otherwise moving full steam ahead is on the precipice of being derailed and maybe even killed. This makes absolutely no sense, yet here we are. There is only one person who terminated Gateway, and there is only one person who could get it back on track, and that is President Trump. Make no mistake about it. He has tried to escape responsibility, but listen to his own words. October 15th of last year, he said about Gateway, quote, "We're getting rid of programs," this is his quote, "we're getting rid of programs we didn't like. I'm terminating those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people and billions of dollars. It's terminated," said Trump. and he repeated it again on October 19th, saying, his quote, Trump said, "I'm cutting the project is going to be dead." We are here today to say that President Trump can and he must restore Gateway ASAP, because the money, as the board will tell you, is going to run out all too soon. This is far more important than some petty partisan political game. It's about the millions of Americans of all political persuasions in New York, New Jersey, and across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic who would be harmed irreparably by a failure of the Gateway River tunnels. It's about tens and tens and tens of thousands of unionized workers, some of whom are working on the job, and many more will be working on it in the future. And they will lose their jobs in a few weeks if President Trump doesn't reverse himself. There's only one way in and one way out of Penn Station under the Hudson for train traffic. If that connection, which carries hundreds of thousands of Amtrak and New Jersey Transit and LIRR commuters every single day, were to be reduced or even halted completely for longer than just a few days, the consequences would be immense. Immense. We would risk economic recession, the loss of potentially of millions of jobs, and an implosion of residential and corporate real estate values on both sides of the Hudson. To play political games in light of the immense consequences of not continuing this vital project is a gross violation of the President's obligation to the public. It is insane. We can either repair the tunnels now, as an example of a forward-thinking investment, or we can repair them on an emergency basis after they're not usable in the wake of a historic crisis, which would raise the stakes and the cost of this project in many ways. I've worked for many, many years with many of the people in this room on both sides of the podium to secure funding for Gateway. $16 billion. It's the largest public works project in America. Every day, with the money that's paid to these workers and to contractors and to others, it injects new economic growth and vitality into the New York, New Jersey economy. I'm proud of that. Right now, construction is underway at 5 different sites in New York and New Jersey, and these huge state-of-the-art tunnel boring machines have been manufactured and delivered. Over 1,000 laborers, the vast majority in unionized building trades, are hard at work with their great skill, earning a good wage. In a short time, that number of workers is going to dramatically increase by tens of thousands. All systems are go. Again, all that stands in the way of Gateway moving forward is one person and one person only, President Trump. All he has to do, all Trump has to do, is pick up the phone and tell the Secretary of Transportation to lift his hold and to continue funding Gateway, and the project can move forward. It's that simple. The money is already in place. But if Trump doesn't pick up that phone and give Gateway the green light, the jobs will be lost, the economic output that will evaporate, the real estate values that will tank, all of that will be on President Trump's head. And I ask President Trump to think of the workers here and the thousands more like them. They work hard, they're skilled, and those dollars help support their families. What are they going to do if they lose their jobs because Trump has cut this off for no reason on earth? What will they do? Now, President Trump is a born and raised New Yorker and someone who does know a thing or two about real estate and infrastructure and building, which is all the more reason he should continue Gateway. So in conclusion, I urge President Trump to end this terribly damaging and ultimately absurd blockade of lawfully appropriated and allocated funds and let Gateway move forward. Thank you. Let's keep fighting till we win.
Thank you, Senator Schumer. Congressman Gottheimer, thank you for coming.
I'm on my way to D.C.
Good.
Take the train, Chuck. Good morning. Thank you so much to the Gateway Development Commission's board and leadership team. You do a phenomenal job. I want to thank the Port Authority, my colleagues in the transportation, and phenomenal labor leaders here today for the work you do on this critical project. I don't think we got a big enough round of applause for labor. I want to give another big round of applause for labor. I want to be very direct about what we're facing here. This transportation crisis is a 5-alarm fire, nothing short of that. In 10 days, on February 6th, the money runs out and shovels go down on the Gateway project, the most consequential infrastructure project right now in the United States of America. A project that's critical not just for the 200,000 people getting to work and school every day, to the thousands of businesses that depend on it, and to the 1,000 hardworking men and women of labor who will lose their jobs immediately because they're working on the project right now. But it will also be a disaster for 20% of our nation's GDP that runs right through this region. And the crazy thing about this is that it was approved and funded already years ago through the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which I proudly helped write, negotiate, and pass into law with many of my colleagues. And, as you heard from Chuck, it's already being built. I've seen it with my own eyes at site after site, 5 of them, many of them running, working around the clock, with boring machines ready to roll. Yet seemingly, for no apparent reason, the Trump administration has stopped it in its tracks. And like many of us, I just don't get it. For too long, we kicked the can down the road while our nation's bridges, roads, and tunnels continued to crumble, including the existing train tunnels that go into the Hudson, which are now more than 116 years old. To put that in perspective, that's when William Howard Taft was President of the United States. That's when these things were built. And every day, they still carry New Jersey Transit and Amtrak riders and LIRR. So you think about that, and I've been down there before. I don't know if any of you have been down there. I know many of you probably have. It's unbelievable. You can't believe what still goes on down there and how they run. And they've been decimated by all these years, right? And by Superstorm Sandy and just time, age. You see it. There's literally being held together by Scotch tape and Band-Aids. If just one tunnel were to shut down, and on the weekends, we got to take some tunnels down for repairs all the time, but if one of them were to go down, it would cost the U.S. economy an estimated $100 million a day, $36 billion a year. Gateway isn't just some regional priority, it's a national imperative. And in the end, including those working on it now, Gateway will create more than 95,000 good-paying jobs to build this whole project. Again, most of those are union jobs and support scores more through new businesses and investment in New Jersey and New York. It's a massive jobs and economic project. Gateway represents what finally fixing our infrastructure looks like in a common sense, bipartisan way. I keep saying bipartisan because the deal getting this done was bipartisan. The support for the Gateway project is bipartisan. So it doesn't make any sense to me why suddenly this has become a partisan thing. If we don't inject the dollars that have already been appropriated by Congress back into this project, it will shut down. You heard that from the senator. You'll hear that from the commissioners. This project will shut down. How long? We don't know how long it will be delayed. We don't know if it's permanent, if it'll be temporary, how many months it'll be set back. But shutting it down, this is what we do know. Shutting it down will cost at least $1 billion in taxpayer money. $1 billion. What a complete waste for something that we could stop and just move forward with. And I want to hand it to the Gateway leadership. In the last 4 months, because of the administration's random decision to stop paying their bills, the project has received $0 in new funding. Yet impressively, this team has managed to keep things on schedule, working with labor. moving things around to make it work. But that's about to come to an end because you can only squeeze so much out of a rock. Again, if we stop now, we will have wasted $1 billion in taxpayer dollars, and residents will be left with a huge, half-finished pit in their backyard. The bottom line is this. You can't have a first-rate state, like Jersey, and New York too, with a second-class infrastructure. The Gateway project is not optional. It's not a luxury. It's essential insurance against economic disruption and a foundational investment in America's future. We have to finish what we started. We can't let partisan games get in the way of years of planning, of bipartisan commitment, and construction progress. The stakes are simply too high, and the consequences too severe. Canceling this tunnel will kill jobs. It will crush our economy and set us back as a nation. So, President Trump, I know you don't want to derail our progress as a nation. This tunnel is 116 years old. If it collapses, America will blame you. If we fall behind and our economy here falters into a recession, American families and businesses of all sizes will blame you. On the flip side, you have an opportunity to do something historic, to finish one of the greatest infrastructure projects in American history. This is what makes America great. Please don't blow it for some petty politics because you're pissed off at something. Don't blow $1 billion and 1,000 union jobs we're working on now. Don't stick it to 200,000 commuters and 20% of our nation's GDP. Don't send us into a recession. Don't kill this project, resurrect it. You're a New York builder, as Chuck just said. You get building things. So don't stick it to Jersey and New York families, many of whom supported you for some petty reason. This is what the art of the deal should be all about. So, Mr. President, let's make the greatest deal of all time and keep this project moving forward and make it the best tunnel in America and that the world has ever seen. I know many of us, Democrats and Republicans, all support this program and are ready to sit down with you today and get this done together. Let's do it. Give it the green light. Let's move forward and really, really live up to why we're the greatest country the world's ever known. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman. As noted during our roll call, or I think we noted during our roll call, we have a change to a New Jersey commissioner on the board, and I wish to take this moment to express a warm welcome to Justin Braz and my gratitude to Amy Rosen, who really was amazing in her many contributions to the board. This time I'd like to ask Co-Chair Graywolf-Erk to make a statement on behalf of the board regarding former Commissioner Rosen and Commissioner Braz.
Thank you, Co-Chair Glenn. Appreciate it. And thank you to Congressman Gottheimer and the leader for their time. I actually live in his district, and he's done a great job, not just in the 5th, but obviously beyond in his work, and so has the leader. So thank you for their time. On the behalf of all the commissioners, I am thrilled to welcome Justin Braz to the board. Mr. Braz has deep experience delivering for New Jersey residents. He has worn many hats in Trenton, including serving as Assistant Commissioner for the New Jersey Department of Transportation, Chief of Staff for Governor Murphy, and Chairman of the State House Commission. Justin, we look forward to working with you to deliver the reliable 21st century rail service that everyone who travels between New Jersey and New York deserves. On another note, Justin is, of course, someone I've known for a very long time, him and his wife, Stephanie Lagos, and really appreciate you coming on this board. And I'm going to hand it over to you if you have some comments, Commissioner.
Co-chairs, thank you, and members of the commission. Deeply honored by this deep responsibility and commitment. We obviously are at a very challenging time, and I just want to echo my regards and thanks to former Commissioner Rosen, who did a phenomenal job getting us to this point. I look forward to working hand in hand with everyone in this room to make sure this project continues. And thank you, and I look forward to getting to work.
Great, thank you, and welcome. Couldn't pick a better time. Okay, nothing like getting appointed. Okay. The next item on today's agenda is a report on the minutes of the December 15, 2025 meeting of the board. I will now turn to Ms. Anderson for a report on the minutes of that meeting.
Copies of the minutes of the meeting of December 15th, 2025 were delivered in electronic form by me to the governors of New York and New Jersey on December 15th, 2025. On December 23rd, 25, the governors of New York and New Jersey approved the minutes of Resolution 12-2502 at the meeting on December 15th, 2025, at which time that action recorded in the minutes went into full force and effect. The time for action by the governors of New York and New Jersey for all other resolutions expired at midnight on December 30th, 2025, at which time such other actions recorded in the minutes went into full force and effect.
Thank you, Maria. I'll now turn to the GDC staff for an update on the Gateway program. Tom.
Good morning, co-chairs, vice chair, and commissioners. Welcome, Commissioner Brass. We look forward to working with you. As you are all well aware, disbursements of federal funding for the Hudson Tunnel project have been frozen since last October. Today, we're going to share an update on the work we've done since then and the current status of funding for the project. The vast majority of funding for the Hudson Tunnel project comes from the federal government and the local share of loans that flow through the federal program. This reflects the project's national significance, as some of the speakers have already stated. Ensuring reliable, modern train travel through the heart of the Northeast Corridor is essential to America's economy and the New York metropolitan region. GDC has signed and executed funding agreements with all of the funders for the project, including all the federal agencies that are contributing to this project. These agreements create a contractual obligation for our funders to provide these funds. Right now, $4.36 billion in federal funding is obligated to the project. The funding has already been budgeted for, and it's been committed to the Hudson Tunnel project. On September 30th, 2025, the Gateway Development Commission received a notice from the Federal Transit Administration that federal disbursements under the SIG program would be paused pending a review of the Commission's compliance with the federally mandated Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. The following day, all federal funding for the Hudson Tunnel project, not just CIG funds, were paused. Our program complied with the previous administration's requirements in this regard, and we have proactively worked with our federal funders to maintain compliance with any rule changes enacted by the current administration. We've been in close communication with the administration since federal funding disbursements were paused and have promptly responded to any and all requests to demonstrate the project is compliant, with the goal of resuming federal disbursements as soon as possible. In line with our commitment to delivering the Hudson Tunnel project on scope, schedule, and budget, we have used all resources available to keep the construction moving forward as planned while the federal funding has been paused. We have not missed a day of work since October. In that time, we've had a number of significant milestones, including completed manufacturing of the first 2 tunnel boring machines. The first tunnel boring machine is now in New Jersey, ready for assembly. Finishing the Tunnelly Avenue Bridge and making significant progress on the Portal launch box, where that first tunnel boring machine will go into service, and setting the stage for tunnel boring to begin through the Palisades. Completing 2 major concrete pours for the Hudson Yards Concrete Casing 3 project, which is more than 3/4 finished. Continuing work on the access shafts on both sides of the Hudson River, New Jersey and New York, and ground stabilization in the river to prepare that for the tunnel boring machines going through. We have funded this work using our line of credit, which we were required to obtain as a condition of our full fund granting agreement with the federal government. Since October, we have been clear that funding construction using credit was a short-term solution and that we could not continue construction indefinitely without unpausing the federal funding. We have now drawn down nearly all of the available sources and credit and can no longer continue funding construction without access to the original project's funds. For that reason, we have notified our contracts that work will have to stop on February 6th if additional funding does not become available. At that time, we will have exhausted all available resources to keep our construction sites open. GDC's contractors will spend the next 2 weeks winding down work at the active construction sites in New York, New Jersey, and in the Hudson River. Construction of the HYCC 3 project will continue because it is funded by a federal mega grant, which was not paused. Pausing construction, even temporarily, will have serious negative consequences. First and foremost, nearly 1,000 workers who were employed working on this project will lose their jobs working on Gateway. A longer construction pause could put all 96,000 jobs that would be required to complete this entire program at risk. At minimum, talented workers may leave the project. There's no guarantee that we'll be able to get our top performers back when construction resumes. Our Chief of Program Delivery, Jim Sterace, will elaborate further on the key resources immediately following my remarks. Stopping construction will also impact the carefully coordinated project budget and schedule, increasing costs, including major cost of demobilization alone, and potentially forcing riders to rely on the outdated, unreliable existing North River tunnels much longer than anticipated. More than $1 billion in taxpayer dollars have already been spent on the construction of the Hudson Tunnel project, as previously mentioned. We only get a return on an investment if we finish the entire job of the Gateway program. If construction stops, all we'll be left with are 4 large half-finished construction projects in Midtown Manhattan and New Jersey. Stopping construction won't just hurt New York and New Jersey. The core reason why the Hudson Tunnel project is the most urgent passenger rail project in the country hasn't changed. The rail link at the heart of the Northeast Corridor is old, outdated, and falling apart. And for those of you that travel on the Northeast Corridor know it's important, critically important, because with air travel and train travel, that's how transportation occurs up and down the Northeast Corridor. The Northeast Corridor provides essential transportation that connects workers to jobs throughout the region that generates 20% of America's gross domestic product. The entire system depends on the existing North River tunnels, which have been in service since 1910, and they were severely damaged by flooding caused by Hurricane Sandy. Without the 2 new tunnels, closing the North River Tunnel would disrupt travel up and down the East Coast, costing the national economy billions of dollars. The risk that the North River Tunnel will have to close for repairs grows with each passing day, and GDC is doing everything in our power to build a new tunnel as fast as possible, thereby eliminating that risk exposure. Make no mistake, we're still working around the clock to resume federal funding disbursements so that we can keep our construction sites open and our crews at work. I'm now going to hand the presentation off to the Gateway Development Commission's Chief of Program Delivery, Jim Sterace, to talk about what we've accomplished to date with these workers working every day at these construction sites. In the upcoming year, we are scheduled to start tunnel boring, complete 2 major construction packages, and start work on 2 new additional projects that are part of the program. We need to keep building on this momentum. Organizational physics and object in motion tends to remain in motion, and when it rests tends to remain at rest, and it's moving in motion. We want to keep it that way. We don't want to throw a wrench into this well-oiled machine that has been delivering this urgent project. I'd now like to have Jim Sterace come up to the podium.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning, Commissioners. So on the picture you see, the first slide, is 5 of the 10 construction packages that make up the Hudson Tunnel program and that are under construction. And these involve hundreds of men and women from the construction labor force, engineers, architects, and support staff moving these projects forward each day. I want to emphasize that these include highly specialized workers who could be assigned to other projects if construction was to pause. On this slide, you can see the progress on each of the projects that are in construction on the construction sites in New York, in New Jersey, and in the Hudson River. This urgent and challenging program is well underway and is being delivered on budget and on schedule. The slide here it gives you pictures and a view of the first construction undertaken on the program and will be complete in the next few weeks. This is the Tunnelly Avenue Bridge and Utility relocation. And this project's purpose was to create a path for the future railroad right-of-way. This was an embankment that was removed and a bridge replaces it. The bridge is complete and the site's being prepared for the arrival of the first tunnel boring machine, which will be used to bore through the rock of the Palisades in New Jersey. The contractor is now doing early work also to prepare for the New Jersey Surface Alignment Project, which is targeted for construction contract award this spring. And again, these pictures give you an idea of the view, and particularly if you look at the bottom, it gives you a view of the completed Tunnelly Avenue Bridge. And underneath that is the they call it the launch box, but is the excavation where the right-of-way the future rail right-of-way will come through and will go into the portal, which is the beginning of the tunnel construction. The Palisades Tunnel Project. The work on both sides of the Palisades continues in North Bergen and in Weehawken, advancing toward the start of tunnel boring. And again, we've talked about and mentioned that the first tunnel boring machine is on site, or all the parts will be there by the end of the week. The portal launch box at the foot of the Palisades, where the tunnel boring machines will start tunneling, is nearing completion. This is an excavation through rock that will be the location of the New Jersey Tunnel Portal and the location where the tunneling will begin in New Jersey. The construction of the slurry wall, and the slurry wall is the concrete wall that surrounds the Hudson County access shaft, is more than 75% complete. This shaft is where the Palisades Tunnel will end and the tunnel across the Hudson River will begin. And you get a really great view here on the bottom of the entire site. The top left is the sound wall that's being built and is complete around the Weehawken site. The bottom pictures are a view of the entire site, the excavation that will go in and create the portal that will begin the tunnel construction. And the top right is the shaft that is called the Hudson County shaft. And again, that's where the tunnel boring machine will be removed from the Palisades and the Hudson River Tunnel boring machine will be installed and begin the trip across the Hudson. I'm going to show you a video. This is the first tunnel boring machine. It comes in over 90 pieces because the tunnel boring machine is about the length of a football field. It came on 2 ships, one in New Jersey and one landed in Baltimore, and it's been trucked to the site. And by the end of the week, all of the parts are here. And we have a video of some of the operation of its trip to the Palisades North Bergen site. What you see there is the main drive unit in blue, and that is a key piece of equipment or a key part of the tunnel boring machine, because it helps the cutter head spin. It is the control of and where that cutter head is installed onto. So it's a key piece of the tunnel boring machine. But again, all of the parts is about over 90 parts to the tunnel boring machine, and they will be assembled at the site of the Palisades Tunnel. By the end of the week, all of the parts are there. All of the units are trucked there. They will be on site and assembled. So all manufactured. The second tunnel boring machine will start to ship in February. It is nearing completion of fabrication, and that will be all on site by about the middle of March. So that the key here is that, and the last picture here is where it's on site. And I think if you look at the bottom right, that's kind of what the cutter head will look like on the end of the tunnel boring machine. Hudson River Ground Stabilization Project. This is a project that prepares for the tunneling under the Hudson River. and it continues. It's about 50% complete. The work strengthens the soft soil that lies under the Hudson River, gives better stability to the river substructure during the tunnel boring operation, and it involves drilling into the riverbed, and this happens every day. And it's in the soil is mixed with a light concrete structure which stabilizes the pathway for the tunnel boring operation, which again will begin with the Hudson Tunnel tunneling operation. The Manhattan Tunnel Project. The Manhattan Tunnel Project is one of the most complicated projects in the program. It creates a tunnel structure between a shaft that is being built near 12th Avenue on the west side of Manhattan, and will allow access to tunnel boring machines that will create a tunnel between the bulkhead at the Hudson River, and on the other end, it will connect and meet up with the tunnels that will traverse onto Hudson Yards into Penn Station, New York. Work is in progress on the shaft and other associated infrastructure work to support the project, both in the Hudson River and on 12th Avenue. The tunnel boring machine, called a digger shield, it's a little bit of a different machine, a little smaller, but still does the same thing. It is a shield that will create the tunnel structure, and that will be used to build this section of tunnel, is being manufactured right now. The Hudson Yards Concrete Casing Section 3. It's called Section 3 because Sections 1 and 2 are built. Were built with Hudson Yards, and they exist, and they're finished, ready for connection to this project. It's approximately 75%, more than 75% complete. Recently, the construction team broke through the bulkhead, connecting this section of concrete casing that's already built onto Hudson Yards. You can see that on the top right picture, where that's the existing Section 2, and Section 3 on the bottom right will connect to it. Work on this project will continue after February 6th. Tom had mentioned this because it's funded by a federal mega grant that has not been paused. But when the project is complete, this section of tunnel will serve no purpose if the program doesn't go forward and the remaining tunnels are not built. 4 major procurements that comprise the remaining construction packages for the new tunnel are impacted by the federal funding pause. 2 construction packages, the Hudson River Tunnel Project and the New Jersey Service Alignment Project, are planned to start in 2026. But contracts cannot be awarded until the funding resumes. For these 2 projects, the GDC has competitive bids in hand and are targeting for construction contract award in the very near future. The remaining 2 construction contracts associated with track and tunnel fit-out are critical to the completion of the program, and these 2 are also at risk for delays. So that's a summary, Commissioners, of where we're at with construction, and I want to invite Tom back to the podium to finish the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. We have a long road ahead. I am confident that the Gateway Development Commission and all of our partners can deliver this critical project. That's why I joined the organization. I will close this presentation by restating 3 important facts. First, if funding does not resume, then construction will need to pause on February 6th. We have gone as far as we can go with the existing resources that are currently available. Second, suspending construction across 4 large-scale sites will have major consequences. It will negatively affect thousands of workers, millions of commuters, and every American taxpayer who has already invested more than $1 billion in the building of this tunnel to date. Third, we have met every request from the U.S. Department of Transportation and will continue to do so. GDC remains wholly committed to avoiding a pause that will jeopardize the project's cost and schedule. I committed that we will maintain the scope, schedule, and budget of this project when I joined it, and that's the intent going forward. I appreciate the opportunity to have this meeting today to explain in no uncertain terms what is at stake if the funding does not resume. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom and Jim and the team for that. update, I think, an often understated but true statement that the pictures speak more than 1,000 words. I mean, it's really incredible what has been accomplished over the past 2.5 years. And I'm sure that I speak for everyone here when I say that everybody in this room, each one of us, is working around the clock to find a way to get this funding flowing again so that we can keep this incredibly important project working. But I also want to be incredibly clear, that despite responding to all of the requests from USDOT in a timely, transparent, and responsible way, it means nothing. None of that means anything when faced with the harsh reality that President Trump himself made the decision to cut off federal funding. And he, and only he, has the power to restore it. And as a lifelong New Yorker, somebody who has been in this business and watched his career and thought a lot about what it means to make big projects happen, it is not easy, but he is the only person who understands what his decision means. As we say at my house, as my kids say, in real life. I'll tell you what it means in real life. In real life, it means that hundreds of construction workers on the Hudson Tunnel project who put food on the table, who work every single day to build these great projects, are going to struggle. Thousands of businesses across the country who provide services and parts to this project will also not be able to operate. Not only that, those of us who take and rely on the Northeast Corridor and the New York City metro region in particular understand that it is the heart of the American economy. How ironic that today he wants to switch the dialogue to the American economy on the day that we are asking him to do a very simple thing, which is to restore the funding to keep the American economy beating again. The North River Tunnel we talked about is 116 years old. It is delay prone. It's a real risk of shutting down. All of you who have been in these tunnels know this is not just an idle threat. This is not a drill. This is showtime. If we don't have a tunnel in service, then the fallout for our economy and for our nation will, in fact, be catastrophic. So I thank you, Tom. I thank you, the GDC team. I thank all of my fellow commissioners. I thank all of the people in the room who are working here. But let's be honest. Let's be clear. There is really only an audience of one person who needs to hear our collective voices, and we all know who that is. So we are telling you today, on behalf of hundreds of workers, thousands of riders, and millions of Americans who are counting on you, Donald Trump must restore the funding to this project.
Thank you, Co-Chair Glenn, for those words. And of course, thank you, Tom, Jim, the entire Gateway Development team. Thank you for everything you've been doing. Thank you to everyone who is here from Labor. We appreciate you being with us this morning as well. Of course, we can't do any of this work without you. I want to emphasize that all of us up here and on the Gateway team remain very focused on finding a solution. And you've outlined the immediate impacts in this presentation of what it would mean to actually halt construction, and the consequences of prolonged pause would be really severe, not just for us, not just for labor, but essentially, for this country. For New Jerseyans, who I can speak on the behalf of up here as the co-chair, train delays are not merely an inconvenience, right? They have real and lasting consequences. A delayed train can mean arriving late to work, of course, and really putting a hard-earned job at risk, and being absent for moments that Alicia mentioned with family and friends that really can't be replaced. And these disruptions affect daily life for countless people, hundreds of thousands of people who depend on a reliable rail system. We have waited years for Hudson Tunnel project to address these challenges, and here we are. After so much progress, we cannot allow construction to stop. This is a difficult situation. We all know that. But there is tremendous support for this project. We've heard it time after time at these very board meetings. And it is clear we have a strong team and a capable team under Tom's direction to get this work done. We will do everything in our power to support you, Tom, everything in our power to support the Gateway team, everyone that's sitting to my left here, as you keep moving forward on the most urgent passenger rail infrastructure project in this entire country in over 100 years. We are with you, we're here to support you, and we will keep fighting to make sure that we get this done.
Thank you. I want to note for the record that the commission has solicited virtual comments from the public in advance of and during today's meeting. A form for soliciting these comments was posted to the GDC website in advance of the meeting, and a comment form for virtual participation is available throughout today's meeting. I believe that we received 4 virtual public comments. Is that correct? Okay. By 5 p.m. on Monday, January 26th, from the following folks. Congressman Robert Menendez from the U.S. House of Representatives, State Senator Liz Krueger and Assemblymember Tony Simone from the New York State Legislature, Michael Markarski, Engineers Labor Union Cooperative 825, and Samuel Turvey, Rethink NYC Empire /Station Penn Community Defense Fund. The slashes are in there. If any virtual comments are received during today's meeting, they will be distributed to the board and posted on the Gateway Program website after today's meeting. All public comments received will also be filed in the commission's records. Ms. Anderson will now conduct the public comment period for those speakers who have registered in person today. And I don't know the number, and I also believe there are some elected officials here who I would like to offer them the opportunity to go first so they can continue to do their hard work every day.
Okay, thank you. Today we have 25 registered speakers. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, we request you limit your comments to 3 minutes. In accordance with the GDC Open Meetings policy, the public comment period may be limited to 30 minutes. The first speaker is Councilman Botcher. Sorry.
Commissioners, my name is Eric Botcher. I'm the New York City Council member representing the Manhattan side of the Gateway project. Around the world, our competitors are building for the future. In China, they have built more than 50,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. That's enough track to circle the Earth and still have over 10,000 kilometers left over. They now operate more high-speed rail than the rest of the world combined, and more than 80% of their major cities are connected by high-speed rail at speeds of up to 250 miles per hour. That level of investment reshapes regions, strengthens the economy, and signals confidence in the future. Meanwhile, here in the United States, we built a few hundred miles of high-speed rail, and now our own president is refusing to fix the tunnels that support it, pulling the plug on the single most important rail network in our country, one that underpins 20% of the United States economy. And why? To prove a point, 100 years ago, Americans built the entire New York City subway system in just a few years, and they did it without much technology at a time where many people did not have electricity or hot water in their homes. Imagine telling them that a century later, with vastly greater wealth and technology, we would be unwilling or unable to fix the infrastructure that they built. They would not believe it. Canceling the Gateway Tunnel does not save money. It wastes billions of dollars already spent, drives up future costs, and guarantees chaos when one of the existing tunnels fails. If one of these tunnels goes down, it would cripple the United States economy, put thousands of union workers out of work, jobs that they are depending on to support their families. This project is already underway. It is fully funded. Union workers are on site today. The tunnel boring machines are ready. All systems are a go. We are better than this as a country. if we cannot summon the will to repair the most critical link in our country's rail system, we are not just failing this generation, we're failing future generations that come after us. At its core, it's a question of what kind of country we want to be. Do we want to be a nation that plans, builds, invests in the future, one that hesitates, defers responsibility, and waits for failure? Great countries do not abandon essential infrastructure halfway through. They finish what they start. Donald Trump, build these tunnels now.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ravi Reddy.
Good morning. I'm Ravi Reddy, Director of Outreach and Senior Advisor to Senator Gillibrand. I'll be reading a statement she submitted for the public record. The Hudson Tunnel Gateway project is supporting good-paying jobs for thousands of New Yorkers, generating billions in regional economic activity, and providing business to domestic suppliers and manufacturers. Further delays in completing what the administration previously said would be a quote-unquote quick administrative review and withholding federal funds will not only jeopardize the viability of our nation's most important infrastructure project, but hurt union workers and families across New York and New Jersey. As ranking member of the Senate Appropriations, Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Subcommittee, I join Senators Schumer, Booker, and Kim, along with our colleagues in the New York and New Jersey congressional delegations, in demanding the President, Secretary Duffy, and Director Vogt immediately release federal funding for the vital Hudson Tunnel project.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jerry Keenan for the New Jersey Alliance for Action.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Congratulations to Justin, and it's good to have another friend on the board here. I'm Jerry Keenan, the president of the New Jersey Alliance for Action. The Alliance for Action is a 52-year-old organization. We represent business, labor, government, education, utilities, higher ed, just about every walk of life, and we're focused on creating economic development through environmentally sound capital investment and the opportunities they provide. The big topic here, obviously, is federal funding is running out for this project. Really? I mean, this project is so critically important. It's not just a regional priority. It's the most urgent, we've heard it many times, the most urgent project in America. Our national economy depends on it. So funding is frozen? Really? I mean, come on. The North River Tunnel is 116 years old. That means it was opened 12 years before the Yankees won their first World Series. That's how long ago it was. And it's not a question about if this tunnel is going to break down or close because of repairs. It's when. When is it going to happen? And without a new tunnel in place, travel up and down the East Coast is going to come to a standstill, costing the national economy billions and billions of dollars. This project is also a job creator. Right now, we have 5 active construction sites, support more than 11,000 construction jobs and 20,000 overall jobs. When complete, this tunnel is going to generate roughly 95,000 jobs and nearly $20 billion in economic activity. So we're waiting for federal funding now? Again, really? What are we trying to get done here? Let me also be clear. This funding is already authorized. We already have it. Congress and the President already approved these dollars. Now they're just being frozen. So if these federal fundings are restored, it doesn't cost the federal government a nickel. So all they need to do is move forward on this. This would just honor commitments already made. We talked about more than $1 billion in taxpayer dollars have already been invested. You want to lose all that money by letting this project slow down or stop? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. again. Really? The project is ready, the workforce is ready, the economy is counting on it. Now the federal funding has to be restored. There's no way around it. Let's get this project moving again right now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Santos, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, Rodriguez? Okay, for New York's NYC BCTC.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Santos Rodriguez, and I'm the Chief of Staff of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York. I'm here today on behalf of Gary LaBarbera, President of the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York and vicinity. The Building and Construction Trades Council is an organization of local building and construction trades unions that are affiliated with 15 international unions in the North American Building Trades Unions. Our local union affiliate represents approximately 100,000 union construction workers. The building trades mission is to raise the standards of living for all workers, to advocate for safe working conditions, and to collectively advance working conditions for our affiliates, members, as well as all New York City. The Hudson Tunnel project is not an abstract policy discussion for us. It is real work, real paychecks, real stability for working families. Our affiliates and members are building these projects with skill, pride, and commitment. It's hard work, but it's good work. And it allows our members to put food on the table, support their families, and contribute to the communities they live in. This project is also essential to the livelihood of hundreds of thousands of workers who rely on this tunnel every day to get to their jobs. Any delay, disruption, or failure would put those jobs at risk, would ripple through the regional economy almost immediately. We are deeply concerned about uncertainty surrounding federal funding. Playing politics with crucial infrastructure put our working people in the crossfires. When funding stalls, jobs stalls, families feel it first, and the broader economy is not far behind. The Hudson Tunnel is a crucial artery for the Northeast Corridor. Investing in it keeps our region moving, protects public safety, and avoids far greater costs down the line. Fully funding this project now is a responsibility and cost-effective. On behalf of President Gary LaBarbera and our entire council, we urge President Trump to keep the project moving, keep the funding flowing so our members can keep working, our families can remain secure, and our region can continue to thrive. Thank you for the opportunity today.
Thank you. The next speaker is Am Rienzi for Local 825.
Everybody, good morning. My name is Anna Marie Rienzi, and I'm here with the Engineers Labor Employment Cooperative of Local 825. That's our operating engineers. So on behalf of more than 8,000 men and women of IUOE Local 825 and nearly 1,000 signatory contractors who employ them, we applaud the Gateway Development Commission for your leadership on this critical project, ensuring construction milestones are on time and also on budget. But now is the time to complete the Gateway program, and we urge the federal government to take the steps necessary to make that happen. The Hudson Tunnel project is an urgent investment in America's passenger rail network that will improve transportation up and down the East Coast, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and strengthen the national economy for decades to come. This must be completed, because without a new tunnel, closing the North River Tunnel will disrupt travel up and down the East Coast, costing the national economy billions. On the heels of the storm of this past weekend, we can easily see the importance of critical infrastructure investments such as these. 5 of the 10 construction packages that make up the Hudson Tunnel project are in progress, and work on 2 additional projects is scheduled to begin this year. These provide great union construction jobs and will result in significant economic benefits to this region. Any tunnels closing at this point would cost the national economy $16 billion, increase traffic, resulting in longer commutes for drivers and delayed emergencies, reduce property values in the region by $22 billion and cut train service between New York and Washington, D.C. in half. On behalf of our members, contractors, and their families, we again urge the federal government to take steps necessary to make this project a reality right now. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Napiza for ABNY.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm John Apisa with the Association for a Better New York. As a proud member of the Build Gateway Now Coalition, the Association for a Better New York commends the Gateway Development Commission on continuing to progress the most impactful transportation infrastructure project in the country and strongly urges the federal government to immediately restore legally contracted funds allocated by Congress to ensure completion of the Hudson River Tunnel project. Excuse me. The Hudson River Tunnel's 5 active construction projects are currently employing more than 11,000 construction workers and generating at least $4.5 billion in economic output. Restoring funding will ensure this massive workforce can remain employed and generate growth within the nation's economy. Further, with more than $1 billion in public dollars already invested in the Hudson River Tunnel projects, restoring the allocated funding will ensure responsible stewardship and return on investment of the important public investments already made to date. Since breaking ground in 2023 on the tunnels projects, the Gateway Development Commission has met every construction milestone on time and on budget. With that demonstrably high level of excellence in the project management, the Gateway program is exactly the type of project where valuable public dollars can be trusted to be invested in public work projects wisely. ABNY, along with Build Gateway Now coalition partners, is proud to continue to support the Gateway project and strongly urge the federal government to restore funding to ensure the investments in a more resilient and higher capacity transportation system is realized, benefiting the nation's economy for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Devon Lomax for DC 9 Painters.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners, for having me. My name is Devon Lomax. I'm representing 10,000 members in the finishing trades of New York. And we call on the immediate federal government to immediately restore the funds for the Gateway Development Project. This project is more about putting our members to work and investing in the next generation of skilled tradespeople. This project creates real union jobs, expands apprenticeship opportunities, and ensures the public dollars are being spent building careers. By moving forward now, we are strengthening our workforce, supporting working families, and delivering long-term values in our communities. You know, in our world, if we don't work, we don't get paid. We don't have an office to go to tomorrow, and playing politics does not put food on the table for us. And people have been talking about how much we have a skilled trades deficit in the United States. It would be a shame to miss this opportunity to invest in America's workforce. So again, we call on the federal government to immediately restore funds for this project. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Michael Grunert for Local Union 3.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Grunner, and I'm here on behalf of the hardworking men and women of IBW Local Union 3. The Gateway Tunnel Project creates tens of thousands of union jobs. These union jobs allow family-sustaining wages and benefits for the hardworking men and women of the tri-state area. Such long-term projects afford these hardworking men and women economic stability for their family in uncertain economic times, while also providing such opportunities like the ability to afford their children's college tuition or the ability to buy their child's first used automobile, and the immense pride felt by being able to provide such gifts for their family. Every single union construction job is important and crucial to maintaining the dwindling middle class of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is David Caraballos for the Carpenters.
Good morning, members of the commission. My name is David Caraballoso, and I'm the president of the Carpenters Union, representing 20,000 members. So this tunnel is an economic, or it's a fuel injector to an economic engine. It's critical not only for our members, but for the city of New York and for the country. So I'll cut to the chase. We urge that President Trump respectfully fund the project so that our members can do the only thing they know how to do, is work hard, provide for their families, and add to the economy of this state and this country. It's very important that we get this done now. Otherwise, all the work that we've already done will be wasted. So again, we urge President Trump, as a lifelong New Yorker, please fund the project and put New Yorkers to work. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Robert Brunk for Local 79.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Robert Brunat of Local 79. We represent 10,000 laborers in New York City and the 5 boroughs alone. And I'm here on behalf of the Executive Board of Local 79. President Trump needs to stop the war against unions and American working families, middle-class families in particular. He needs to fund this project immediately, without hesitation, and he needs to keep us in the tri-state area working. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mike Hellstrom for Luna.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners, for giving me the opportunity to address you this morning. My name is Mike Hellstrom. I am the Vice President, Eastern Regional Manager of the Laborers International Union of North America. I'm here this morning on behalf of 20,000 men and women of LIUNA that live and work in New Jersey, and many will have an opportunity to work on some aspect of the Hudson Tunnel projects. I did some back-of-the-envelope calculations. I estimate that by the time this project is completed, at our current rates, our members in New Jersey alone would earn approximately $550 million in wages and benefits, and that's just our New Jersey members. The economic benefits of this project to hardworking union members cannot be overstated. When I think about American First agenda and what it means to me, I can think of no better project that better exemplifies the idea than that of the Hudson Tunnel project. It significantly enhances the Northeast Corridor's transportation network, helping to move over 20% of the nation's GDP from Boston to Washington, D.C. It will employ thousands of American construction workers and our signatory contractors. It exemplifies that the idea that when Americans put its minds to something bigger, together we can do hard things. It's when we were building our interstate highway systems, the Hoover Dam, and even the moon landing, the Hudson Tunnel is our generation's next big thing. This project we are investing in is an American job and Americans' economy. It is the very definition of American First. It's time to stop using this tunnel as a political pawn in a political fight. It doesn't serve any of us, and we really implore Donald Trump to do just the right thing and continue to fund this project, to continue to employ thousands of Americans. That is an American First agenda. This political nonsense that's going on and using this project and hijacking it and taking it hostage does nothing good for America, puts our national security at risk, our economy at risk, and it's just time that he releases the funding and keeps us doing exactly the thing that we want to do, and that's just build the Gateway Tunnel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Mooney for Local 580.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me to speak in this warm and toasty room. It's not where I thought I'd be when I got dressed this morning, and I
Appreciate that very much. So you say only one person is holding up the funding for this project. So I'm addressing that one person. President Donald Trump. I would like to introduce myself. My name is John Mooney. I am a proud member of Local 580 Ironworkers for the past 26 years. I am a happily married man. I have 2 daughters that are teenagers, and I actually have good relationships with them. We're starting to look at colleges right now. I am a resident of Queens, like where you came from. I actually can afford to own a home in Queens. I pay my taxes every year on time. I coach softball. I coach volleyball. Yesterday, I went grocery shopping and shoveled the sidewalk for the old lady that lives next to me. I could do all that because I could afford to do all that because I am a proud member of Local 580 for the past 26 years. So, President Donald Trump, you said you want to make America great. Union workers go home and they can afford to make their communities better. They can afford to make their communities great. So, money talks, bullshit walks. All right? I know you know that one. So free up the money, get this tube flowing underneath the Hudson. Thank God I commute from Queens, so I'm not commuting under that. But if you were commuting under there, you would want damn sure that union labor put that together that's holding the Hudson River up over your head. All right? So thank you, President Donald Trump. Free this money up now so I could get to work and make my neighborhood better, which by extension makes this country better. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is from RPA, Tom, looks like Wright? Okay.
Good morning. My name's Tom Wright. I'm the president and CEO of Regional Plan Association, a 103-year-old civic organization that plans for the long-term health and prosperity of the tri-state metropolitan region. And today we're here living on borrowed time. The links between New York and New Jersey face a growing crisis of capacity, connectivity, and potential collapse. The frequent delays and emergency repairs that commuters currently face are mild compared to what will happen if one of the tunnels fails before replacement tunnels can be built. That's why I'm here today urging the release of federal funds for Gateway. Without immediate release of that funding, work on the Hudson Tunnel project will soon stop, adding years and billions of dollars to the eventual cost of building new tunnels under the Hudson River and putting the entire effort at risk. Losing capacity or risking tunnel closures threatens prosperity, even for commuters, residents, and businesses that do not themselves use the tunnels on a regular basis. Tom and the GDC staff have talked about the short-term consequences, and our friends from labor have very eloquently talked about the personal consequences of this. So let me just talk from RPA's perspective somewhat about the long-term consequences of what happens if we fail to build this tunnel. Nearly 500,000 commuters regularly travel from New Jersey to New York every day. They generate over $60 billion a year in wages. They pay roughly $13 billion a year in federal taxes. The closure of just one of the existing tunnels will impact all of them. Over 100,000 commuters, we estimate, will see more than an hour added to their commute time. We've also calculated that the Gateway program will generate roughly $445 billion in economic benefits by 2060, creating and sustaining more than 46,000 jobs on average each year over several decades. If new tunnels are not built before the old ones fail, 500,000 commuters will face longer, more unreliable trips. Tens of thousands of rail passengers will be forced onto cars, buses, or planes, and congestion on highways, bridges, and at airports across the region would intensify as rail riders shift to other modes. We cannot let that happen on our watch. Let's get this funded. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Brian Fritsch for PCAC.
Good morning. I'm Brian Fritsch, Associate Director of the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. Created by the New York State Legislature in 1981, PCAC serves as the official voice of riders for all branches of the MTA system. PCA is proud to be a member of the Build Gateway Now coalition to recognize what a major impact the Gateway program will have, propelling economic development and delivering a more sustainable and healthier region. Our members who are west of Hudson riders are especially excited about the Gateway program's work to improve speed and reliability for riders with some of the longest and most tenuous commutes in the nation. That's why we have been dumbfounded and appalled by the President's edict via tweet to withhold funding for the Hudson Tunnel project, as well as the 2nd Avenue subway. This feels a bit like deja vu, but with significantly higher stakes. The President's reckless obstruction is eerily reminiscent of his first administration when USDOT refused to approve the environmental impact statement for the Hudson Tunnel project, stalling it for almost 3 years. What's different now is that tens of thousands of jobs and hundreds of billions of dollars in economic activity are at stake should these projects fail to move forward. That's real families and livelihoods in New York, New Jersey, and beyond. We stand with Governor Hochul, Senator Schumer, and the New York and New Jersey congressional delegations to urge them to fight this illegal injustice with every ounce of their strength. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. The next speaker is Henry Soder Lund for Local 3.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks to the commission. Thanks for having me. How we doing? So, as you see, we got 2 Local 3 representatives coming up today because we have that many members. The Gateway project is vital to keeping our economy thriving in the Northeast. In a time of economic uncertainty, good-paying union jobs that secure work opportunities, short-term as well as long-term, for our community are vital to keeping our communities thriving. Please keep funding the Gateway project. Thank you very much and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Robert Fawcett for Local 472.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Robert Fawcett. I'm a proud member of LIUNA Local 472. I was here last fall offering my comments in support of the Gateway Tunnel project. At that time, some of the contracts were underway and we were preparing to award more pieces of the project. I left that meeting that day feeling hopeful that we had finally turned the page on politics of a new Hudson River crossing. After years of waiting and wondering, we were finally on our way. And then, like so many of you, I read in the headline the horror that the President had deemed the project terminated. I remember standing on Tonnelle Avenue almost 17 years ago. We had the groundbreaking of the ARC Tunnel project, and then watching a year later, that project was killed as well. So that's 2 for me. We cannot let history repeat itself. In my opinion, we've gone too far in this project to let it be shut down. At least when the ARC Tunnel project was canceled, the funds had been earmarked for where it went to other dedicated projects. That meant that hundreds of union members that were already working at the tunnel continued to have jobs around New York and New Jersey. Terminating the Gateway Tunnel project offers no silver lining for my union brothers and sisters from all trades. It means a lot of my friends will return the out-of-work list in difficult times. Terminating this project isn't just about politicians playing politics. It's about taking money out of our pockets and food off our tables. It's not just all about my union brothers and sisters in the trades on the tunnel project, but all the ancillary economic developments that this project would create. An improved Northeast corridor encourages more investment along the rail line. Without the new tunnel project, these opportunities are also lost. I do not see how terminating this project is putting America first. It's definitely not putting my union brothers and sisters first. If anything, it's saying they don't matter. I urge everyone involved, please find a solution to keep this project moving. We're all depending on you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Steve Valera, also from Local 472.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Steve Valera. I'm a member of Labor's Local 472 for 25 years, and as a heavy highway laborer, I've had an opportunity to work on a lot of projects throughout the state of New Jersey. And as we all know, a lot of these projects are vital for our members to continue to work and provide for their families and allow themselves the opportunity to purchase homes and things that they need. And that Donald Trump talks about allowing Americans to have the opportunity to purchase a home. And if he takes the funding away from this project, not giving us that chance, and that really sucks. So I ask that the president looks at this and realizes that this is vital, because Superstorm Sandy showed us that, at any moment we could be shut down. And if we're shut down, we're screwed. And it's very important for the New York State and for the New Jersey State to work together and allow this project to happen. 9 years will be done, and being able to fix the current tunnel that's there and allow us further opportunity and create more opportunity for our members even after these tunnels are built, because it provides jobs for maintaining them. So it's important. So Donald Trump, put your money where your mouth is. Release the funds. Allow us to purchase homes in the future too. All right? You talk all this shit about making America great, so let's make it great. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mike Anderson for Local 46.
Good morning, Commission. Good morning, everybody in the room. My name is Mike Anderson. I'm here from Local 46, the reinforced line workers, one of the fortunate trades that have members down at the tunnel presently. I put some facts together. I'm just going to read them back. I mean, this is about protecting a critical lifeline. The existing Hudson River Rail Tunnel is more than 100 years old, which was seriously damaged in Superstorm Sandy. They are operating far beyond their intended lifespan. If one tunnel were to fail, rail service between New York and New Jersey will be crippled, impacting hundreds and thousands of daily riders. The cost of an inaction is greater than the cost of building. Delaying the project increases the risk of catastrophic shutdown. An unplanned failure would disrupt workers, businesses, hospitals, and emergency services throughout the region. Investing now prevents a higher economic social cost later. This supports the regional economy. The New York-New Jersey region is an economic engine of the nation. Reliable rail service is essential for workers getting to jobs, good moving efficiency, and businesses staying competitive. This project protects jobs far beyond construction sites. Now, the union labor, which I represent, ensures quality, safety, and accountability. Built under the Gateway program, this project uses highly trained, skilled union workers. Union labor delivers safe job sites, higher standards, and work done right from the start. Project labor agreements guarantee prevailing wage, stronger safety protection, and local hiring. But this is more than just union trades. This is about the working man, the average Joe, that needs this facility, the Hudson Rail, to get to work, get to back, and provide for their family like everybody else. Good jobs and workforce development. The Hudson Tunnel Project creates thousands of good-paying, middle-class union careers, not jobs. It supports apprenticeships and hands-on training for the next generation and skilled trades. These are the local jobs and stay current. So my plea is to Donald Trump. I mean, as a former New Yorker that lives in New Jersey that looks forward to using this Gateway project, he used to be a man that was about building, not about killing projects. I built a couple of his projects back in the past in the 2000s. Why not go back to that? Be the guy that builds, not destroys. Be the guy that puts food on the table and not create famine. You know, put people over politics. That's what this is about, politics. You're about America first, put the people first. Let's get this funding and keep the project going. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mateo Colon from the New York Building Congress.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Mateo Colon with the New York Building Congress. I represent our over 500 member organizations, 250,000 skilled tradespeople and professionals who are dedicated to the growth and prosperity of the New York region. We're proud members of the Build Gateway Now coalition, and we strongly support the Hudson Tunnel project. First, we'd like to congratulate the GDC and its partners on the remarkable progress achieved to date. With 5 active construction sites now supporting over 11,000 construction jobs and with tunnel boring machines on site and ready for assembly, the project has consistently hit key milestones on schedule and on budget since breaking ground. The Hudson Tunnel Project is the most urgent infrastructure project in the entire country. Our national economy depends on its completion. The 116-year-old North River Tunnel, severely damaged by Hurricane Sandy, is a single point of failure for the whole Northeast Corridor, a region that generates 20% of America's GDP. Without a new tunnel, such a closure would devastate travel, cut rail service in half, cost $16 billion to the national economy, and reduce property values by up to $22 billion. This project is a monumental job creator and economic engine. The current construction is already supporting more than 20,000 total jobs, generating $4.5 billion in economic output. In total, completion will generate 95,000 jobs and $19.6 billion in economic activity. To pause funding now, after more than $1 billion in taxpayer money has already been invested and legally binding contracts are in place, would jeopardize this return on investment and abandon the workers and businesses driving this progress. The Building Congress respectfully urges continued support and momentum behind this once-in-a-generation infrastructure investment, and we look forward to continuing to work with the GDC to get this project completed. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. The next speaker is Ronald Siros for Local 282, Teamsters.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Ronald Soroyas. I am a 34-year veteran employee to Local 282 Teamsters Union. This message is really for President Trump. I came here to discuss a lot of stats and numbers, which we already have, and I'm sure that Mr. Trump also has all that information. This message is for him and Secretary Duffy. We understand that there's political divide and differences amongst the federal government and the state and local government here. I just want to make it personal. The stats are the stats, but what this project will do is really affect the hardworking members of the local unions, the men and women who go to work every single day and give it their all. This is not you, Mr. Trump. This is not you. This is not what you're about. I know that. You need to really take a hard look at what's happening. And I think that I remain optimistic. You will change your mind and your attitude on this. Leave the political stuff aside. Look at the hardworking people that this project will affect. Not only the commuters, but the people who will benefit from this project all around. Thousands and thousands of men and women going to work every single day. And so most here had their words against Mr. Trump, President Trump, and Sean Duffy. I just want to make it personal. Help us. Help us make America great again. Help us make New York and New Jersey great again. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Joe Todoro for Local 731, Laborers.
Good morning. I just want to make it personal to Donald Trump. This is New York City. He comes from New York City. This is going to create a lot of jobs for our building trades workers, also our 731 members and rest of our LIUNA members working on this project, plus the other trades. The political stuff has to stop. You're a New Yorker. You know, basically just release the money and let's make New York City great again. That's what you've been praising, so let's do it for our membership. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Raymond Klein for Local 282, Teamsters.
Good morning. You guys already hit on everything that I wanted to say in the beginning. I mean, the commission knows what's going on. I can only talk as a Teamster. We need dedicated work in order to work. There's no set times. There's no sick times. So this Gateway project will employ hundreds, at least involuntarily, through different things. I myself am a mixer driver. The company I work for is delivering to this project. The video you guys saw earlier, I was at 3 of those locations on Friday alone, including the water hammerhead. We're dedicated. We're trying to get out there. We're trying to finish this job. Pulling the funding, I can't understand why. I don't want to say names. We all know who. He was a developer. Why, when you already have not your toe in the door, but you have your entire foot in the door of a project, will you stop funding the project? It needs to be done. It's got to come all the way to the end. We're already 10,000 yards plus of concrete into this job. Why waste it to whom it may concern? Please think about this. Continue this job on. Allow our contractors and my organized sisters and brothers to shine and bring this project to a completion. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Alex Pena, Partnership for New York City.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Alex Pena, and I serve as Executive Vice President for the Partnership for New York City, a nonprofit organization that mobilizes private sector resources, expertise to advance New York City's standing as the global center of economic opportunity, upward mobility, and innovation. We represent 300 corporate investment and entrepreneurial firms whose members support nearly 500,000 jobs in New York City and deliver on $263 billion in economic output. Thank you for the opportunity to share our unwavering support for the continued advancement for the Gateway program. The Gateway program is one of the most significant infrastructure investments in economies in New York, New Jersey, and the Northeast Corridor. The Hudson Tunnel project in particular will ensure a vital, reliable cross-Hudson connection by doubling down on the number of tracks and increasing the number of passenger trains between Newark and New York Penn Station. The program directly benefits the regional economy, residents, and New York businesses, many of whom have operations and employees on both sides of the river. The economic impact of the project will be substantial. Without a new tunnel to allow essential repairs to the existing infrastructure and provide added capacity, service will impede workforce mobility, disrupt business operations, diminish quality of life, and costing the national economy approximately $16 billion. Upon completion, the Hudson Tunnel project is expected, though, to create 95,000 jobs and produce nearly $20 billion in economic activity. These investments strengthen labor markets, support small and large businesses across the supply chain, and help to maintain the competitiveness of New York as a global economic center. The partnership commends the Gateway Development Commission and its partners for delivering key construction milestones on time and on a budget since work began in 2023, a clear indication that the program is advancing efficiently from planning all the way to execution. Funding the Hudson Tunnel project is already secured through legally binding federal commitments, meaning continued support does not divert resources from other priorities. More than $1 billion has been invested across New York and New Jersey for the work to date. Federal funding must be restored immediately to help the project on schedule, ensure fiscal responsibility, and avoid significant cost escalations associated with the delays. The Hudson Tunnel project is not simply a transportation upgrade, but a foundational investment in the region's economic strength, workforce stability, and long-term competitiveness. Bringing this project to completion on schedule ensures that residents, businesses, and the national economy benefit from a modern, reliable, and resilient Northeast corridor as soon as possible. The partnership will continue to support a fully funded Hudson Tunnel project and respectfully requests that this administration hold up their end of this historic bargain and release the funds. Thank you for your leadership and continued stewardship of this critical infrastructure initiative.
Thank you. The next speaker is Chris Boylan for the General Contractors Association.
Thank you, Commission members, for allowing me to speak. I'm here on behalf of the 300 heavy civil contractors that employ 25,000 of the represented workers that you see here today come out in force. Frequently, the contractors get lost in the sauce here, but they too are impacted. They've mobilized a tremendous workforce, materials, and spent time and energy gearing up to do the work that you see today. So I'm here to also make the case for them. I will also say the case is more than coming to speak to you, because you know the issues and you know the problem. The issue is down in Washington. I spent the last week walking the halls in D.C. to talk about this very issue, and also went to talk to folks at USDOT. I would advise folks that they should be doing the same thing. I also was Deputy Executive Director of the MTA when Tom Prendergast and others were there, and we went through these same issues. There were many issues that thwarted construction of projects, but one of the most difficult ones was the unreliability of funding. So I hope that folks will understand this in Washington, that the delay in funding here is one of the primary causes of project delays, costs, schedules, overruns, and so forth. So I'm going to wrap up at that. I think you know the issue, and I thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sarah Soy for the Somerset County Commission.
Right. Thank you for having me today and so many other people for this good fight here. Let's call this what this is, a direct attack on blue states. Our funding is being questioned right now, but not because we didn't follow a good process and we haven't been advocating for our people. The funding is already approved and committed. Congress has already allocated the funds, and federal government has signed legally binding agreements, continuing funding, to continue funding this project and not take it away from other priorities. What we do best in New York and New Jersey is stand up and fight back. Let's continue to do that, and I was asked to be brief, so we heard all the economic reasons. Let's get this done.
Thank you. There are no more speakers.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Anderson, and I have to say, it's rare when New Yorkers can agree on anything. It's even rarer when New York and New Jersey definitely agree on things. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today. It's been cold. I'd much rather see you working on the job and continuing to work on the job. But again, heartfelt thanks for those of us who are working every day to do this and make it work for all of us. But again, keep the drumbeat going. I think we know exactly where to be sending our displeasure, our anger, and our demands. So I thank you again for everybody today. And I will now be asking us to enter into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States. After the executive session, the board will reconvene in public session and for the purpose of adjourning the meeting, and no further business will be conducted. I make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss contract negotiations, personnel matters, and matters in which the release of information could impair a right to receive funds from the United States or other grantor. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you again, everybody. Maria Anderson, I hereby reconvene the open session board meeting. Do we have a quorum?
All commissioners are in attendance, and we have a quorum.
Thank you. There being no further business to conduct today, I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second that,
Okay, I
Co-Chair.
move this motion to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved and meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.